Hi everyone and welcome back to another FledgeWorks Talks series. It's 2026 and while everyone is talking about AI safety, we are here to ask the real question. How do we make AI human? So we are joining by Franja and Jasmina Ridzi, our CEO and HRM consultant, to discuss how your technology is serving your people. Franja, as a CEO, why do you think this has become the absolute top priority for HR software specifically?
First of all, we need to talk about it, which part of the HR software, because HR software is a complex solution. So usually the HCM, HR software, HR tech consists of three different areas. So first, core HR, which means HR administration, talent management, which consists of five HR processes, and work efficiency part. So if you talk about implementation of AI, the most efficient, of course, is HR administration or core HR, because AI can replace some tasks or mass data operations with a large quantity of the data. The same if you're talking about work efficiency, where we talk about reporting, classical reporting. We are talking about travel expense and so on, and similar processes. In talent management area, it's completely different, because in talent management area, we have a AI Act, which actually limits the functionality of AI. AI, in some cases, is also forbidden. For example, AI should not judge, should not rank. In talent management, as we know, like performance management, we cannot use AI to give us a final score for a particular person or group of the people. So we were very, very careful about usage of AI. Definitely, yes, it is a future, but we need to know exactly where we can and where cannot.
Jasmina, from your perspective as an HRM consultant, people often worry that AI safety just means more restrictions. How do you explain to HR teams that safety actually makes their work better?
Safety is very, very important when we are dealing with the AI, and especially in HR, because we are dealing with sensitive data, and these are personal data. And that is so important that we are not using just some open AI for the personal data, and that we are putting inside the personal data of the people or some sensitive information about our organization. So not the restrictions, because AI, of course, is very helpful in the processes, as already Franja said. We can do things faster, more efficient, different way. And yes, of course, the usage, we are going to use it, but the safety also is very important. This is why it's good to have, like when we are dealing with the personal data, that we are using the AI within the system. If that is the HR system and has the AI components, there is safe. But when using OpenAI and putting the personal data there, this is really a no. So here we must be very, very careful. And regarding also AI, it is important that before we have a structure, that we know how AI is going to help us. If we don't have the structure, then also the AI is going to just be in a chaotic environment. So we need a structure. We need still a job architecture. We need the systems. We need that defined workflows and so on. Of course, with that, AI can help us in some way. But anyway, the structure is needed. And then to put the AI on that, of course, it's very beneficial.
Franja, when we talk about the technology itself, one of the biggest concerns is the black box. The idea that AI makes decisions and no one knows why. How does FledgeWorks approach making the technology feel more transparent and safe for a non-technical manager?
Yeah, this is definitely an interesting question, and I'm not sure that I can give you a plain and simple answer, but I will try. So, black box syndrome is definitely present, and that's why AI Act I mentioned before also put in place. So, put some kind of regulation or rules how or where we can use AI and where we cannot. In Section 5 of this Act, we have exact cases, written cases in HR area which should not be supported by AI. And one of them, as I mentioned before, also is ranking or giving a final score or choosing a person based on interview data, that kind of stuff. So definitely in FledgeWorks, we are following that rules, and we are trying to provide more or less automation of the processes which are plain and simple. So mainly in area that we can let's say use AI to speed up the process or to do something instead of person. For example, today, if you'd like to create a contract of employment, you need to use 5 clicks and several choices and to enter some data. In the future, I can see it more like a chat. So please create a contract for that person, and according to the data from the system mentioned also by Jasmina, this is also important because without the data, without the structured data, AI simply cannot work. I mean, he can provide some answers, but these answers will be very inaccurate. So I see the future in that area, not really to make a decision instead of people. It's far away at the moment, but more to do the automation of the processes which are well known, simple, plain, and of course explainable.
Jasmina, another common concern with this AI trend is bias. How do we ensure that using AI actually helps us be fair and more objective, rather than just repeating old, unsafe patterns from the past?
Yeah, we must look about that all the time because this is really a trap that we can fall into. And if we have like the rules of the games and the clear system and defined processes and how we play, so then the bias, we can avoid it. But this is also, as Franja is saying, we cannot let the AI alone to make a decision. We are still not there. So the human has to overview and make the final decisions. So this is also what is required in the EU about the safety of AI, so that somebody oversees all the decisions also when we get the information from the AI, but the decisions, the AI is still not there that it can make not biased decisions. So we must be careful, and this is one of the area that we must really be careful with.
Finally, to wrap up, it's 2026 and the safety trend is only growing. What is the one thing you want people to remember about the FledgeWorks approach to this future?
Thank you for this question. So, there are a lot of plans about AI in the FledgeWorks, and definitely we are going to support core HR first. So to understand the whole thing, AI agent, when you create the AI agent, he uses the data from internet outside of the company, and of course, as many as possible within a company. So it's really important that you have some history of the data within a company. So we will focus on that one. So of course, if the company has a FledgeWorks for several years, like that would be the best case because we can use our own data to feed the AI agents. But also we need to think about the different options because companies usually have a lot of archives still on paper, and maybe in that direction, so that FledgeWorks can read the paper and go to the archives, collect the data, and of course make some decisions or do the work asked for this AI agent based on all different data saved on all different medias.
We can say that we are already successfully using AI in FledgeWorks. So for now, it is in the recruitment module, helping to screen the CVs of the employees. Of course, AI doesn't make the final decision or the AI doesn't choose the candidate, but it helps with the screening if we have a lot of CVs. And of course, in performance management, which is really a very successful feature because it helps the managers create the goals and objectives and the key results, which is actually the most difficult HR process. And also for the managers, this is the most difficult thing. And here it helps, and it's doing a great job. Of course, also, then the managers checks if those goals are correct, but to give at least some ideas, and really the goals are really good. I have to check them myself, and this really works. So it is going on, and of course it is going to be also in the other modules. We will let you know when it happens.
Franja, Jasmina, thank you so much for your insights, and hope everyone enjoyed that. Thank you.